All right, guys. Thanks for joining in here on this week's episode of the Outdoor Drive podcast. We did a little BS session between me and Steven. Steven's double-bearded bird in Virginia and my main shed hunt. We kind of went off the rails on a little bit of everything and anything. We do appreciate everybody joining on in with us. We got a lot of new things. If you guys haven't already, got over to the YouTube page, hit the subscribe notification button, check out what's going on. We have the video for part 1 of Virginia. Part 2 is going to come out very shortly. And also we have the youth hunt coming up therefore after. A little bit of everything kind of going on there, but make sure you hit the subscribe button, notification button. And on the podcast stuff, if you guys are watching on Apple podcast, make sure to hit the subscribe button on all platforms, but also give us a 5-star review on the Apple stuff. We do have some hats going on sale here if they're not already, but by the end of the week. So contact us there on social media and we'll get one out to you. So go ahead, listen on in and come take the drive with us here on the Outdoor Drive.
Nice shot. Here comes a shooter. Shooter. Big buck. Stacked. Get the gas!
All right, welcome back to the Outdoor Drive podcast. This is your boy East Coast Trev, and
This is Steve.
what's up, Steve?
Not a whole lot, man. It's the first time we've actually had a voice-to-voice conversation without the inReach in 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's been some time, bro. I'll definitely say that. It's been crazy.
Yeah, you've had a lot going on. I had a little bit going on.
Yeah.
A lot to catch up on.
Yeah, I know, man. It's something else, dude. I'll tell you. Communication through the inReach kind of sucks, bro. I didn't realize it.
Yeah.
I've been told that there's a bunch of apps. So one of the guys that we were with when I was off grid he was telling me that there was actually an app that you can use your phone and then you just take your inReach and you just put it near you and you can run it. I'm doing old school fucking texting like I was on a Nokia, just like
A 33333
more or less.
66644.
More or less. And as if, people that are on the video side can see, I'm a little burlied out. I haven't even shaved probably 12 days, 13 days. So I'm a little bit of a mess here, but it was a good time, dude. Nothing better than that.
Nice.
And you had some cool excitement also while I was away.
Yeah, we finally broke the Virginia curse. Got a bird down.
Nice. Oh, I can't wait to hear about that. And I bet you everybody else is in the same.
I mean, I got a beard for each year it's drug on.
I see that. It was stud. Let's say the least, dude. That was a great bird.
It made me work for it, and the time that it took, 2 years, paid off.
Yeah.
Kinda. I don't know. It was wild
year,
getting
right?
there, and it was wild after, and happy to have the bird, but
Oh, it was just it was one of those crazy Virginia stories as always, man. Nothing comes right in that state. I'll tell you, man, everybody I've talked to, everybody I've seen, I mean, like Johnny Simonetti, dude's in the roost and for some reason bird doesn't come in or holds up on him or whatever the case may be.
just wait till you see part 2 hunt camp and Andrew's bird that flew down on us, and we didn't get a shoot.
I can't wait to see that, man. It was when I came in service, that was the first thing I watched was that video, part 1. If you guys haven't checked it out, get on the YouTube side and check that thing out. What an incredible video, man. Steven did a phenomenal job of putting that thing together. He put his heart, mind, and soul into this one. It was actually really cool, man. It was action packed throughout the whole entire thing. I mean, and it was cool that we were able to switch between the cameras, and see.
It's so nice having multiple views. It makes it so much easier.
Yeah, man, it was so badass. It was so cool to see it from one perspective to another. And I don't know, man, and to totally relive it. It seems so drawn out, right? Drawn out. throughout, like when you're actually hunting it, but to watch it and it all happened in 20 minutes, you're like, wow, that was awesome. That was what happened, dude. It was definitely pretty cool, man. And some serious, like, I think, and part of the video, like there was a lot of like, what would you call that? Like the cinematic, whatever you call that.
Cinematic.
Yeah, cinematic. Some of the moments in there were like, those are cool, man. Did some serious work to them.
Yeah, we're getting there. Like I said, it's a work in progress, and we're trying to get better with every video. This next one, we have more cinematography, more candid B-roll, and some, montage type stuff. A little bit of drone footage starting to tinker with, and the new computer that we got to build to make it work a little bit easier and faster, which that's kind of like, I guess, my redneck geek out moment. I don't have to wait 2 hours to export good video anymore. It's pretty quick now. So that's been fun. But yeah, I was actually in the process of putting the second one together and all of that right before we kick this off. So we're getting close. It'll be out in the next week for sure.
Yeah. And then after that, we'll have a junior hunt. That will come up soon after that. So that would be kind of cool. We have a little bit of everything, man.
There is zero footage of my hunt. Literally
That's
zero.
okay.
I have the Snapchat thing saved, but that's about as much video as I got of that on. So.
That happens though, man. That's part of it, dude. Like and with the shed hunt, I did some video, man. Probably could put something together, but it was like not really on the focus. It was just kind of like taking everything in.
When I kind of walk you through the whole fiasco that was that hunt, I couldn't have carried a camera if I wanted to.
There's nothing wrong with that though, man.
I mean, I had a call in my pocket and the shotgun. That's all I carried. Literally.
Jeez.
I had nothing else. So.
Wow. I can't wait to go through that, man. I want to hear about those paces. But before we do that, why don't we get into intro, man? Why don't we thank some of the people that support us and are part of the podcast? And before we do that, guys, also the giveaway is still up and available. There is definitely a bunch of people that are buying things. I have 24 hats that they will go up for sale by the end of this week. So right after this podcast releases, they will go up for sale. So anybody who buys those, that gets you 2 entries into the giveaway. So stay tuned for that. But the Ducks on the Bay, the hunt giveaway, that's going to run for a little bit longer here. So you're going to want to get over to the sponsors, buy something, use their promo code. If they don't have a promo code, then just type in Outdoor Drive giveaway, and I'll connect with those guys and get you guys all in and aboard the ship to go out duck hunting. But the people to thank and the ones to buy from, we'll start with Nor'easter Game Calls. Get them in close. All your custom calls. Mab Knives. He makes custom knives, man. I just was up there visiting him. Got to hang out with him. See some really cool things. We made a bunch of pretty badass stuff, I guess. Made a pen. Stuff. Yeah, made a pen.
Some antler art.
Yep, there's some antler art in there. We made I made a Mach 3 shaver. Probably should have used that thing, but a couple cool things just to hang out with Mark, man. What a great guy, man, and what he actually does in the shop is actually really cool. Probably he's definitely one of my favorites. I'm glad I got to stop in there and check it out, see and hang out with him. Out on Limb Manufacturing, out on the limb, mfg.com. Go over there they have the new stand for you guys that aren't saddle hunters and want to get in the stand. You guys go check them out. Wicked Twisted Bowstrings, Outdoor Drive 10 on the promo code for that one. Get your custom strings from them. I know Alex Pugh, he was buying some strings, asked me about the promo code for that. All of our promo codes are on our website at this time. So you guys can go over there and check those out if anyone has any questions.
As well as in the remarks on all of our YouTube, both podcast and videos.
Mm-hmm. And the giveaway for you that maybe been sleeping or just joining in on this one. The giveaway is all the instructions are on that website also. Timber Tumblers, timbertumblers.com. Get your custom timber tumblers. What a tongue twister that one is from Jason. You got that stuff. What else we got? I'm a mess here today. I'm like off the rails. So we got Timber Tumblers, Wicked Twisted Bowstrings, Out on the Limb, Nor'easter Game Calls, Broadside Camo, and last but not least,
The big boy. Oh, Mr. Borman.
that's right, Gator Outdoors, Outdoor Drive 25. Yes, save 25. Steve's got on the blind sweatshirt,
Blind hoodie.
the blind hoodie. There's the Miles for Piles one, which is in the wash because it stinks because I wore it every day while I was gone. The True Timber camo that he's got over there. We've been running it the whole entire turkey season. Absolutely phenomenal stuff. He's got all kinds of good stuff over there. So go and check him out, GatorOutdoors.com. They are outfitting the working class. So some good stuff, man. Make sure to check those guys out and support them because they support us. So
Definitely. One other shout out we got to make.
Yeah.
Your beard's in the way, dude.
I know, bro. It's getting bad. It's getting real bad. Working class bow hunter, guys, we're going to take the drive, as always, from the East Coast to the Midwest. We're going to go hang out with our boys here. June 17th?
I think so. I'd honestly have to look at the post.
Yeah, me too.
I know
I'm
it's somewhere
sorry.
right around there.
So we are headed out there. I know some people might catch up with us and drive with us. If you guys do want to make that drive and head out, we could always meet up somewhere. Y'all can follow us out there, whatever you guys want to do. But we will be there for the 2021. It's going to be June 12th, Saturday. It starts at 8 a.m. In Galesburg Archery Club in Rio, Illinois.
That's by that one big tree in the cornfield.
That's right. The only tree, the only woods in the cornfield. So we're going to go out there and we're going to visit our boys out in the working class bow hunter to the shoot. This will be my third year going.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Steven's second year. So it's a good time. Great people.
Do you think they're going to break down and let us make the course again for them?
I don't know. Well, maybe.
I think we may have made it a little bit rough last year on some folks.
Yeah, it was good though. I mean, it was a good shoot. I think they're gonna do a lot more like giveaway, like contest type shoots.
Yeah.
And then they're gonna have an after party at a local place down the road, so everyone can kind of go out and hang out. But everybody's invited, man. Come up, hang out with us. We will all be there. It's a really good time. Great people. Drink beer. Chew the fat. Kind of hang out with everybody. Shake hands. Get to meet everybody. It was a great turnout last year, man. There was people from all over. Eli came all the way up from, where was he at? Georgia?
I think he was out of Georgia. I know he's down south.
He's down south. I'm bad with that stuff. I'm sorry. Eric Smith came in from Tennessee.
No one cares about Bones.
Yeah, well, Bones was there.
Just kidding, buddy.
He's the old guy. And you know what else he told me this too? Believe it or not, I was talking to him today. His brother Scott's going to be there. He's going to take the ride in from Ohio. So they're all going to meet up at Brian's place and then take a ride in from there. So good friends from all over, all going to meet up and we'll all hang out and have a beer together, man. We all need it after this whole COVID crap. So everyone can kind of hang out and see everybody. So if anybody's got any questions or whatever, send us a PM, DM, send us an email, whatever. We're more than welcome to help you out. We'll send you an invite on Facebook, Instagram, whatever we need to do. If you guys want details, just let us know, man. We'd love to have you guys join us, hang out, spend the weekend with us out there in Illinois. So let us know.
My biggest advice is if you are going to do that, take a word from the boys and go shoot your bow now, not later.
No, you want to practice.
You're definitely want to be up to snuff. We are not going to make this easy on you.
Mm-mm. Last year was tough, man. This year is going to be even tougher, I'd imagine.
Well, I'm incorporating that 60-yard blind shot, even if I have to do it out in the field. I'm putting that shot in and making people lose some arrows.
They love it, dude. They love it. So, hell yeah, man. Well, should we get to Mr. Salter real quick?
I don't know. I think he's already getting to us. So do me a favor and crank that bad boy.
All right. Cranker.
Hey everyone, Mike here with some news for your cruise. Now last week I know we stuck around New England with some news, local to here, but this week we're going to head out west where the big news lately, a lot of it has been focused around wolves in multiple states. So we'll start off in Montana, where last month the governor signed House Bill 224, which allows licensed trappers to start taking wolves with snares in the state. This comes on the heels of approval of House Bills 138 and 225, which revised trapping and snare tagging requirement laws and established the season dates for wolf trapping in Montana. So just another step for one of those western states in trying to control the wolf populations. Now off to Idaho, where the Senate there has approved legislation to reduce the wolf population in the state by up to 90%. The approval will allow Idaho to hire private contractors to reduce the wolf population from 1,500 to 150. The plan for wolves in the state was to have 10 packs and up to 150 wolves in the state, and they've far surpassed that. Hunters, trappers, and other wolf control measures have killed about 500 wolves each of the last 2 years. And if the wolf population drops below 150, the killing would be reduced. And if it drops below 100, wolf management could be returned to the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. It approved other changes, which would increase funding to from the Idaho Department of Fish and Game to the Idaho Wolf Depredation Control Board from $110,000 to $300,000. Remove individual wolf tag limits and combine the hunting tag with trapping and snaring tag. Wolf trapping would be allowed year-round on private land, and hunters would be able to hunt wolves with the use of ATVs, snowmobiles, and other methods allowed for animals classified as predators such as coyotes. And now on to the opposite side of the coin. In Colorado, where Colorado is moving forward with wolf reintroduction, and the Colorado Parks and Wildlife held its first of 3 public information sessions. Per Colorado voters, the state is required to bring wolves back to the western slope by the end of 2023. At the first meeting, Diane Boyd, a retired biologist who spent her career studying predators, spoke at the session, stating people should expect the unexpected, and if you think wolves will stay on the western slope, on the western side of the state, they will end up 300 miles out in the prairies in eastern Colorado. It's just going to happen. Boyd made a point that to be successful, collaboration among many stakeholders will be needed for this, especially when known conflicts will occur, like livestock being killed, and that compensation for depredation should be established before the wolves move in because of those conflicts. The reintroduction and impact on elk is also a big concern among many, especially hunters. But Idaho Fish and Game says that since reintroduction in that state, elk harvest has remained relatively stable, but obviously different places have different outcomes. The next informational session will be May 20th, and we'll focus on actual reintroduction and looking at how it's been done in other states. The third session will be in June, and will cover conflicts with wildlife. So changing gears, we'll head to Wyoming, where the Wyoming Game and Fish Department has proposed to reduce the number of antelope tags for 2021. This is due to persistent drought conditions this year and the record-breaking spring blizzard, which has created a short-term population decline in the state. The antelope are expected to bounce back, but a reduction in tags will help those herds immediately. Fish and Game has proposed a reduction of 3,650 any antelope licenses and 5,775 doe fawn licenses, with the reductions affecting most of the herds across the state. Fish and Game stated that 98% of the does in the state have twins every year, which could help restore the population up to 30% by next year in 2022. So anyone who wants to modify their Wyoming hunting application for this year for antelope, you do have until June 1st, and that's for both residents and non-residents. As always, if you have any news for me, please reach out. Mike Salter on Facebook or bearded_bowhunter21 on Instagram. And with that, enjoy the rest of your ride.
Nothing better. Dead. Thanks, Mikey. Appreciate you, buddy. Thanks for filling all of us in for news on your cruise. Nothing better than you, my friend. So check that stuff out.
You're officially off probation. Your short-term disclusion. However we decided we wanted to call it after making your wisecracks about my wife's the only one can kill a turkey here. Yeah. We put a halt to that shit real quick. Just kidding.
Nothing better than that.
We have returned to our regular scheduled broadcast session.
That's right.
It's easy enough to work it back out.
For sure. Well, man, speaking of, why don't we just dig right into it? Because obviously everybody wants to hear a little bit more about your turkey hunt than they do my shed hunting trip. Because obviously it was a little bit more eventful.
I want to hear about your shed hunt, dude. When some of those numbers you guys pulled, just telling people numbers and telling them I had no information was driving people crazy.
Oh, really? I didn't even realize that was like a thing.
Oh, yeah, dude. When you pull more horns in a week than I've pulled in my best season, people are interested.
It was definitely epic. I mean, we were just, to say the least, man, we were just blessed by the presence of some of the best fucking shed hunters around. I mean, that's just plain and simple the way that it goes. I mean, we were mentored by the right people from the beginning. Even when we started this adventure a couple years ago and went up there, my third time going. And we were just mentored by the right dude and just learning and I'll get into that stuff. But why don't you take these guys away on your turkey hunting? I want to hear about this because we intentionally did not talk to each other up until today for a reason.
Neither of us even know anything about what happened other than vague details.
Right.
I want to say Smelts probably has the most information on what went down with me. Bones has a little bit, but no one else really has the full down low on it. So I guess I'm going to break the skinny to everyone at once.
Let's do it, man.
So if I've ignored your messages, this is why. So no shit, there I was. Because every good story starts with that, apparently. But no, in reality, a good buddy of mine that's let me hunt his place, on and off for a couple of years. It's always kind of a Hail Mary because of its location. It's all open field. There's like one hedgerow that runs through the center of it on a creek fence line. And I just kind of don't go there often until he calls. And when he calls 2 days in a row and says, hey, every afternoon I've come up here to grab hay, there's been a strutter and hens back on the back of the field, right on the hedgerow. I said, okay. And he's calling me at about 3:30. So I figured, I'm going to take and Saturday afternoon, just shoot out there, try to get set up around 1, see if they just work their way in. If that's their natural pattern, maybe I'll just bust them right there. And I load all my stuff up. I've got it planned out for an all evening sit. I've got the blind, I've got the chairs, I've got the cameras, I've got the decoys. I'm going to look like Henry Humpback carrying shit across his field. I pull in and there are 2 strutters and 4 hens right where I'm going to set up. And open fields, what do? You can't move on them. I didn't bring a reap fan. I didn't bring even a strutter decoy. So I sat in the truck for about 15 minutes contemplating, okay, well, do I just turn around and leave and then try to come back once they bug out or what? Excuse me. I sat there and watched for about 15 minutes as they kind of worked this ridge and decided, you know what? They're here. I'm here. Let me see if I can get around to that hedgerow, make a move. If I don't get them, I don't get them. Whatever. The only way to get out of my truck without busting them, because they're only 140 yards, strutting, staring right at me. I crawl through the middle console of the truck to the back seat over all the gear, get to the back passenger door that's kind of canted off, so have a little cover, crack the door open and slide out, put my boots on because I didn't have my boots or anything, just camo. At this point, I'm going, what am I doing, you idiot? And I sit there at the door for a little while watching, going, okay, how can I pull this off? Well, a number of things happened here that ultimately made me make the move. Randomly that morning, I had been sitting tinkering, doing some video stuff, and had a Jocko podcast running in the background. And he was talking about taking the indirect path, basically military strategy stuff, but talking about, the straight way from point A to point B is not always the best. Sometimes instead of 100 yards, you got to go 14 miles to work around from the back. And it just kind of clicked on me. It's like, you know what? I could work around the edge of this farm and try to tuck up to that brush pile and then get to that hedgerow because the grass is about a foot tall. So it's like, okay, I'm motivated. Jocko said do it, so I'm going to do it, or some shit like that.
Good old Jocko.
Yeah. If you guys have never listened to Jocko, that dude he'll geek you out and get you all sorts of motivated.
Good.
Good. This situation sucked.
Good.
So I took that as kind of like the first sign. Okay, I need to follow through with this, take a shot at it. Well, I get out, I get my boots, and I was like, well, I can't carry gear. So I grab my call and a striker because I didn't want to have to dig to the bottom of the pile to get a mouth read. Threw it in the pocket. Grabbed my shotgun, went to turn the red dot on. Batteries are dead. So for the second point, I'm telling myself, just put it back in the truck and just leave. Go get a battery, come back. Maybe the birds will have cleared out and you can go set up. Fuck. Okay. I lay the shotgun down. I go, you know what? Real quick. Let me just scroll through my call bag. Maybe I have a battery in there that was almost dead, but still usable. Nothing. I open the center console on my truck to crawl back through, and a little remote for a FM transmitter falls out. I pop it open. There's a battery in there that's a size smaller. So I was like, screw it. Let's see. Put it in. Gave me just enough power that I could see. I was like, all right, I got a sight again. Like, if that's not a you better get out there sign, nothing is. So I did this Tweedledee, Elmer Fudd, hide behind the truck sideways and behind it, trying to keep it between me and the birds so I could work my way straight back all the way to the barn and then go around the barn, down through the cattle pasture, and try to get behind enough cover that I can move forward. So about 20 minutes later, I'm finally at a point where I can get the hedgerow between me and the birds. Once I'm there, great. I'm able to move. The wind's blowing. It was like 20-mile-an-hour gusts. So I was able to work real quick up the hedgerow, and I got to about 75 yards, and there was a break in the hedge where there was a gate. At this point, I couldn't peek around because the younger Tom was strutting, staring right at that break. But there's a bunch of cedars and stuff, so I just kind of tucked up close and hit the call to see what would happen, see if I could get anything out of him. The younger Tom pokes his head up and looks right down at me. The other Tom turns around and walks the other way. And I went, crap, here we go again. The younger Tom just sat there and walking back and forth, watching that gate, waiting for a hen to pop out. Sat there for about 10 minutes or so. And then he turned around and started going up after the first Tom. So I was like, well, he's walking away. I can belly crawl through the grass to get to the other side. I make it the 15 yards or so, good old fashioned Army low crawl and get through there. Doesn't bust them out. Cool. I move another 30 yards down the hedgerow. There's another break and another gate. So this time the brush next to the gate, it's kind of like a cedar overhang, but the way the fence was sitting between it, there's a little hole. And I had to crawl through basically a pile of raspberry briars and thorns and to get into this hole where this fence had about an 8-inch wide hole that was just right to see through. I could set the gun on the fence. It was a perfect shooting bench, and I could watch both strutters. Got set up, and dug some thorns out of the ass, whatever, as I'm waiting. Called one more time. Both of them turned and looked, and then went back to feeding. Hens were staring at me, like, who's this girl? She want to come fight? Nothing wanted to break. I sat there for 30 minutes, and then that Tom broke strut and just started meandering down. Started working his way to me, and I'm going, holy crap. I'm just going to sit here and see what happens. He'd come about 5 yards and go back into strut, wander back and forth. And he'd break and he'd come another 5 yards. And then him and the younger Tom completely break strut and start coming right to me. And I'm going, all right, I've got my spot marked. That's 40 yards. Anything inside of that, they're done. And they hang up at about 50 yards, start strutting again, as typical Virginia birds do. And I'm like, son of a gun. Well, they keep moving. I'm going to just sit here and wait. Well, they break about 10 minutes later. They start coming in, but then they go 90 degrees to my left, and they're leaving my shooting window. So, I leaned over, had a pile of thorns right here, and just leaned into them. Was able to get the bead on and cracked one off. I paced it off. It was 47. And hit it base of the neck, thumped him pretty good. He hit the ground and rolled, but then he got up and was able to run. I was like, oh, shit. So I nosedived back out of the brush, out of the thorns, got to the break in the gate, fired a second round off just as a follow-up, and dumped him. It's like, whew, all right, score. One for me. So I jumped the fence and I run up there and I grab the bird and, I get a foot on his neck and I'm stretching him. And all I hear is, you mother beep, 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 beep. What are you doing? And I look around and a house on the neighboring farm, like 500 yards away. There's this big old woman standing out there. I thought she had a bullhorn. I could hear it clear as day the way the wind was blowing. And she was mother effing me up and down, north, west, south, sideways. I was just like, I'm hunting. You can't hunt here. You don't have permission. I went, I beg to differ. Got a piece of paper right here says I do. No bull crap. You can't do that. I'm like, what the heck's going on? So as a civilized hunter, I've got everything I need. I know I'm legal. I start walking to the lady, pick up the bird, throw it over the shoulder, and I walk up because I want to sort it out, clear it, and say, here's my permissions and this and that. And I didn't know that these were new renters on that particular house that freshly moved from DC, and they like watching turkeys.
Oh, well, that's too bad.
So I got, 50 yards. Drop that mother bird. I'm calling the cops. And and I looked at her and I said, you know what? I'll call the owner and I'll meet you down at the entrance. And I turn around and walk. You drop that mother effing bird right now or I'm going to call the cops and this. And I said, you go right ahead. She goes, what's your name? I said, my name's James. And just kept walking. I said, if you want to talk, you can meet me and the owner down here at the gate. Apparently those hills are a little too big for a 350-pound woman to follow me through. So
come on.
She didn't follow me. I get back to the truck. I put the bird in the truck. I haven't even had a chance to look at it other than that quick video I sent you guys.
Right.
And the owner pulls in, and because I'd called him as I was walking, I said, hey, your renter over here is throwing a fit. You want to come cool the jets? He pulls in. I said, hey, you want me to go with you? What do you want to do? He goes, does she know your name? I said, no. She goes, did she see your truck? I said, no. He says, get the hell out of here. All right, well, I'll be on standby. I'm going to run down to your house. I'll wait for you there. He goes, nah, dude, just go home. You're good. I got this. I'll set it right. Like, cool. Appreciate it. I get back to the house and I go to hang the bird up on the scale, and I realize it's a double beard. Because when I was laying there,
throughout all the commotion, you're not there because I didn't
have a chance to look at it.
No, you're just
I felt the spurs as I held them. So I knew I had spurs, and I knew I had a real thick rope on it. That was about it. So I was, I see that and I go, I just whacked a long beard with a double long beard. So, I'm all jacked up and everything's cool. And Kim comes over and sees it, and I show her, and I'm starting to get that, what I missed on the post kill.
Right. Because you're not taking it all in at that point. You're trying to deal with all the other crap that you're dealing with.
Yeah. Cause anytime someone throws a fit like that and says, I'm calling the police, the first thing that pops into my mind, I go 0 to 100. What do I need to prepare for? What do I need to have ready to show? I'm going through the process of how do I clear myself of this BS? I completely put the rest of it behind me. So ultimate buzzkill right after shooting a bird. But I get to the house, I get excited again. We start getting it laid out. I'm starting to get some good pictures of it, and taking measurements, and my phone rings. And it's a local sheriff.
No.
So the sheriffs down here tend to cover down for game and fish because we don't have a lot of wardens. So I'm going, oh, great. He goes, is this Mr. Clark? I said, yes, sir, it is. He goes, can you tell me what happened this morning with this bird hunt? I said, oh, well, it wasn't this morning. It was about an hour ago. But yeah, here's this, here's this, here's this. Here's where I was. Here's when I shot. Here's who gave me permission. Here's how I've done it. I've done this for a few years now. As far as I knew, I was legal. He goes, yeah, I'm pretty sure you were. I talked to the owner and I talked to the lady, and the lady was more or less pissed off because she liked watching the birds, and she was watching the birds when you shot it, and it pissed her off. And she said she's not trying to get you in trouble, but she was pissed off that you shot the birds. She didn't want you to shoot them. I said, okay, so why are you calling? He goes, honestly, I don't know. He goes, can you give me your license number? I said, yeah, cool. Here's my license. He goes, did you check it? I said, yeah. He goes, can I get the confirmation? I gave him the confirmation number. He goes, cool. Can I get your license plate so I can run your information, make sure you're legal? Cool. Gave it to him. He's like, good. Everything's fine. Everything checks out. As long as you were outside of town limits, because I know that property's close, you're good. If you're inside, we may have to cite you for discharging a firearm in town limits. He said, well, I'm pretty sure where I shot, I was outside of limits, And after looking at the map, yeah, I was about 100 yards outside of the limits. So I was like, whew, cut that one a little close. But it's Virginia, and there wasn't a church around, so I wasn't worried.
Well, you only got to be 100 yards, so it's not a big deal.
Exactly. So ended up finally getting time to sit down and measure it. It pulled out. The first beard was 10.5 inches, and the second beard was 8 inches. So it was a nice, healthy old bird.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. In your mind for bow hunting league, you're going, man, if I would have shot that with a bow. That's 18 inches of beard on one bird. Dang. And 1.25 inch spurs, real sharp, dark black pearl, no white, which is the first bird I've shot in Virginia in a while that had no white in the spurs.
Damn.
So, and he was well bred out. He only came in just under or just over 21 pounds.
So he'd been running hard.
Yeah. So
wow. Great bird though, man. So
it was nice. It was awesome at the same time as being disappointing. It's not that way you want to celebrate a bird like that after a streak like that. Looking back, it's a great story. I laugh about it now. Everything worked out cool, no problem. Should have mounted it, but I was not in the headspace to even consider it, because I always told myself if I'm ever mounting a turkey, it's got to be a double beard or better. So to shoot a double beard with 18 inches of beard not mounted, I kicked myself in the ass about a little bit, but that's neither here nor there. So
that's so tough though, man. Like, but the roller coaster ride that you did go through, and having to deal with that and the ups and downs, you'll never forget that story. So that story is going to forever burn in the back of your mind.
I literally almost quit twice before I even started.
Yeah, but you kept yourself on the grind and knowing that you could do it, and you actually did it. And then you did it, went through all of the struggles and havoc that you did, and then to deal with it continuously until the end of the night.
Yeah. But there's always something nice that when the cop checks all your stuff out and he goes, hey man, you're good to go. Congratulations on the bird. Enjoy it. I'm going to go deal with her now. It's like, ha, cops on my side.
Now, is there a hunter harassment thing down in Virginia? They have a hunter harassment also, or
There is, but I don't think this would fall under it just because it was such an odd situation. So being a new renter, she's responsible for, the house and the acre it sits on. The rest of the farm falls under the lease.
right?
So she has no say or care or anything to do with any of it. I mean, she's a leaser. She's not even an owner. So she has no say.
Right. I know,
So-
like here, so we've had some problems in the past. I mean, because obviously everybody knows that Connecticut sucks, and we talk about it all the time. But a lot of the birds that we kill, they come off of private land onto public. The birds that I kill, and I deal with that regularly. And like the guy, I mean, I got 1,000,001 stories of birds that I've called off of public. Actually, your buddy John that's up here, he was asking, he was
I
like,
was talking about it yesterday with him. He's like, I'm kind of worried, dude. I was like, just run.
yeah, because he's like, well, I got some birds that are on private, and I was like, call them on the public and kill them. I go, you're gonna find a lot of your birds are on private, and that's what you're gonna have to. I mean, obviously that's not the case that you were dealing with, but going back to to reel it back in, we call them off of private. Guys are feeding them, so on and so forth, and you put them on the public, and then you kill them, and then you run in the same thing. The warden's showing up. What are you doing? Checking out my tags, and they're just like, "Have a nice day, man. Congratulations, well done."
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is these people don't realize they're not pets. They are property of the state, and I pay all of my fees and legal dues to go out and pursue them, and I do it legally.
Well, it's illegal to feed them anyways.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you're feeding the birds, right? So you're feeding, chickadees and cardinals and this, that, and the other thing, and Orioles and whatever else. But
Yeah, but if you're dumping piles of stuff on the ground to specifically feed the turkeys, that is unlawful during season.
And that's your own fault, man. Like if you're gonna get upset about it, it is what it is. I mean, that's on you. It's the same thing with. We've had instances in the past where guys purposely feed ducks in the creek that we're hunting to try and get us in trouble, or you know what I'm saying? Like they go above and beyond. It's like, bro, what don't you understand that it's illegal to feed those things? You can't feed fowl. You can't feed deer. You can't legally do all these things. So like you're trying to get us in trouble, but in all reality, we can't bait them. Neither can you, whether we're hunting or not. You can't feed these animals.
I've always had that in my head that if I ever ran into that situation where I pulled a bird off a private on a feed pile and they throw a fit, they call the warden or the sheriffs or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
How easy would it be to turn the tide and get them for a baiting during season?
It happens all the time, dude. I mean, it's so simple, and people don't understand that. Like, they will get in trouble, or they will be talked to. You know what I'm saying? I mean, a lot of people don't realize is that the warden's on our side. The warden is the difference between the people and conservation. Like they are the barrier. Like they're the ones that withhold that line, and they make sure that the hunters are doing what they're supposed to be doing and the people are doing what they're supposed to be doing. And that line never gets crossed. Right. They're not out to get us. Well, they're also hunters and fishermen also.
Exactly. I mean, that's why they are conservation officers.
Correct. And they're out there hunting just like we are, man. Like we got a local warden here. I don't know if I told you, he's from Virginia. He's a good old Virginia boy.
Tell me about it.
What a stand-up guy. I mean, I won't want to drop his name or nothing, but
yeah,
stand-up guy. He, I got to talking with him. He was a little bit upset about the thing that we talked about, shooting 9-shot, tungsten. He was like, I can shoot this back home, but I can't shoot it here. So like, he's going through the same thing. He's like, it sucks. I got all this 9-shot back from back home and I can't shoot it. And I got to order 7-shot and I had to go through the same exact thing. And it's like, he's on the same token, you know what I'm saying? And it's nice because we've had wardens in the past here that weren't hunters. And they were they're snowmobilers or quad riders or whatever, and they're into the land. But now to have actual hunters, it's definitely a better thing. And like for you, I mean, having a sheriff be a warden, that's a fine line. You know what I'm saying?
They don't know game laws. They know local policies, but They don't know game laws.
Well, maybe they would be if they were outdoorsmen or hunters.
Well, and that's the thing is out here, pretty much everyone is.
Right. And that's a nice thing.
The guy made it very clear that he knew it was a bullshit call without saying this is a bullshit call and it's a waste of my time.
He had to be professional.
Yeah, he was a very, very professional officer. In fact, me and the property owner are trying to schedule it to go get beers with him.
That's awesome. I mean, hey, he might know some hunting property. He might know some good. You know what I'm saying?
You never know, man.
We had a instance a couple years ago within city limits. They have 2 hunting areas. They're flood controlled areas, and people are going to know this when I talk about it, the local people. But anyways, we used to goose hunt there all the time. I mean, dude, it's dead smack in the middle of the city. And we would go there and we goose hunt. We get 6 guys and we would just pound them out. I mean, just beat them up, shooting limits. And one day the cops showed up. Now, mind you, they're city cops. So like gunshots.
They especially don't know anything about game regulations.
It's crazy, right? So we kind of got a little jammed up. But not really. I mean, we were with 100% within the legal rights.
Right.
We were far enough away from a house. We were shooting everything. I mean, we crossed our T's and dotted our I's. I mean, you always do. I mean, it's go above and beyond. I mean, people call me paranoid, but you got to do it because you never know.
You have to be.
You have to. I mean, when I hunt other states, I freak out. I mean, you know, Steven. So the local police officers start showing up. And they start giving us a hard time. They're calling us out of the field with megaphones, so on and so forth. And so we get down there and I'm talking to them. I said, first of all, I mean, not to be an SOB, but y'all molesting our hunt. Straight up. Like, you guys are molesting our hunt and that's a law here. You cannot molest somebody's hunt. You can wait by the truck and you can talk to them, but you can't really break up their hunt unless they're doing something legal. We weren't doing anything legal. But anyways, we were being reasonable. We ended up talking to them. Thank the Lord that one of the guys was a waterfowl hunter.
Nice.
Because if not, we would have got jammed up. Not really would have we been jammed up. We would have been jammed up.
Had to get a hold of a warden and have a warden come clear it up.
Yeah. And and one of the guys knew. He's like, nope, they got to be 500 feet. They can't be shooting at something within distance. They're legally allowed to be here. Blah, 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 blah. The guy sent us on our way. If not, we probably would have been sitting there all day waiting for a warden to show up and talking to him. I've had it happen a million. I've got 1,000,001 stories of it because that's what happens when you're in city limits. I mean, that's the same thing as what you dealt with. You know, if you don't have the right person, that's just what happens. But I'm really glad that you were able to knock down the curse, and it's a memorable hunt, man. It's one of a kind.
I'll never forget it. And I always joke. I tell everyone I ever take hunting for the first time for turkeys that no 2 turkey hunts are ever going to be the same. You may get similar, but you'll never get the same.
No.
I hope to God I never have this again. It was a pain in the ass.
Yeah, but you know what, dude? Honestly, man, like in 5 years, you're going to laugh about that hunt. You're going to.
I laugh about it now.
I had a hunt. I shot one. I called it on a public land from a bird feeder. And it was actually a cow pasture or a horse pasture. Called it back on a public land. I ended up shooting it with a shotgun. And the lady's like, "That's my turkey." And she comes out in her golf cart running and screaming, and we laugh about it all the time. But you know what? You've only antagonized me to kill every single bird that goes on your property. And that's what I did. Every year I go there and I shoot turkey. But guess what? She don't feed the turkeys no more, and the turkeys don't go there. So I don't know where the turkeys are over there. It sucks. But
well, I got 2 massive takeaways from this particular hunt. So takeaway number 1 is even if you think the deck's stacked against you, you're not going to kill it if you don't try. So that's number 1. Number 2, if you're planning on moving to the country from the city, fucking don't. Just stay where the hell you are. We don't want you out here. Leave your lifestyle and mentality in the city where it belongs. You move to the country, you're going to hear gunshots, especially in Virginia. You're coming from DC to Virginia, or out here to the country in Virginia, real Virginia, and you hear gunshots. I know you think it's, hey, officer down, because that's all that happens in DC when you hear a gunshot. Not out here. So if you're going to come out here, leave your shit behind.
Right.
And if anyone in that situation is listening to this, which I highly doubt, maybe you should listen to this more and kind of change your mentality before you make that move, because things are a little different out here in the country.
And it's kind of funny that you say that, because I think that more people are going to run into these scenarios with everything going on in the world today, like with the whole pandemic, with people going from the city to the country, and then bringing those type of views because they're not educated in those forms to come out here into the countryside and deal with that stuff. And I had the feeling from the beginning, when I knew all this was going to happen, when everybody was moving out to the city, from the city, that a lot of hunters were going to run in these scenarios. And my word of advice to every single one of you is just be professional. I mean, just deal with it.
As bad as you want to load around and shoot over their head or do something stupid that reflects on the entire community. So do the right thing. And if confrontation ensues, leave the area.
Yeah. And just be professional. Just be like, I know my rights. You know, I'm within the law. You know, if we need to, let's get a warden. Let's call the law. You know, let's have them deal it out. Don't take matters into your own hands. I mean, I know, listen, we've all been in those situations. We all want to do so. We all want to say negative things. We want to, you know, call them names and talk this and talk that, but we all hunt in urban areas. So you got to just hold it together, man, and just talk to them like human beings. I mean, I know it's the toughest thing ever.
If anyone knows me, truly knows me, knows that in that situation, I could have gone 0 to 100 and really caused some issues for some people's rest of their lives. And that's been my biggest struggle, is learning to calm down, try to control it and be professional, you know, because it's not just me I'm representing, it's the community, it's our show, it's Trev, it's our sponsors. You know, if I do something stupid and I pull a Dikistit and so I had to, and do some dumb shit, that's going to reflect on our brand.
Yeah. And, you know, there's a lot of people that, you know, you have to remember that hunting is a right. It's not a right, it's a gift. It can be taken away. I mean,
and they're trying hard.
They're trying hard. So you just have to hold it together, guys. I mean, it's absolutely important. I mean, we had a close friend of ours from Do It Then Outdoors, Bishop Reed. He was out scouting, and he's on public land, and this old hunter came up and was talking to him and said that, you know, hey, you know, me and the neighbors don't really like for hunters to be here. We feed the hunters. I mean, we feed the turkeys here. You know, if y'all wouldn't mind just going down the road a little bit, you know, like we feed them, we like them, so on and so forth. And he was in a tough predicament. Yeah,
it's a hard conversation to have.
Yeah, the guy they like it, and he came to him respectfully and asked him to not hunt the birds. And public land being there, I mean, you can take those matters in your own hands and take it how you want. I think I would go the more negative route. I would hunt it anyways. It's public land. You're a public landowner.
You got to find that balance.
You do.
If I shoot it with a bow, no one's going to hear it.
Right. And the guy said also, he said, yeah, the birds cross here about 7:30. So they go to the other side 7:30. So guess what? I'm just going to go on the other side of the road then. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So like, just be careful, man. You know, there's so many options. I know it's opened up so many weird predicaments, but just be smart.
It's a world I think we're going to see more and more of, guys, especially out here on the East Coast as people flood the country from these retarded ass cities. You get a chance, you run into any of them, start educating them early.
Yeah. You know, just put them in the right place, man. Just be smart. Just educate them for what they are. So it is what it is.
That's really all we can do. So a lot of good lessons learned. Broke the streak. Got a nice bird down. Got to make fun of some people. Mentally didn't kill anyone. It's a win.
It's a good time, man.
So while I had all that going on, it's my turn, dude. I want to dig into your adventure. First off, how many did you guys pull in?
By the end of camp, it was 84. It was 84 moose sheds on the ground.
God bless.
It was 5 guys, 3 dogs. It was 84.
That's insane. How many miles do you think you covered?
All right. So on average, I did 49. Captain Mike did 43. And I want to say Rich was right around 70.
Holy crap.
Yep. So we averaged
Well
about
done.
10 miles a day between all of us. So everyone did about 10 miles a day. It was incredible. It was one of the, to learn, to understand. I mean, there's a huge difference in between being a shed hunter and being a hunter. It's one and the same, right? So you're scouting in August, July, September to find out where those deer are going to be October, November, right? So as a whitetail hunter, when you're shed hunting, you're trying to guess where the moose were during January and February. Right. So now you're on the backside of it, right? So it's pretty cool. I mean, you're looking for some of the strip cuttings where the food source was during the winter where they were yarded up. So you're looking for areas that were cut within 5 to 7 years. You're looking for ground growth, a mix between hardwoods and softwoods. It's just a lot of miles on the truck. It's a lot of miles on the feet, getting into these areas, seeing if that old sign is there, and just hiking around. As big as they are, it's definitely a tough thing to find them. They hide in just the weirdest places. I haven't put up very many ATLs. Captain Mike has. Some of his were under the ground. I mean, it was cool, man. We got some earth bones. They have their own religion. So Rich has been doing it. Maine Moose Antlers is who he is. He sells, trades antlers, and he does it for dog chews. So if you guys ever want dog chews, he sells them right online. Maine Moose Antlers. Go and check him out for all your, training tools too. If anybody's training shed dogs, he sells all that stuff too. So go and check him out. But he's been doing this for years, years on years, 20 years plus. Just going up there and moose shed hunting. He does a lot of scouting in the off season, goes all over. We were in the North Woods out of Jackman. It's incredible, dude. We went as far as the Canadian border. Me and Ruby went across the Canadian border.
No, you didn't. You didn't cross the border. COVID. You can't cross the border.
Oh, well, we did, and then a helicopter ended up coming, and it was nuts, dude. It was cool. We had a lot of different scenarios, but yeah, like I was saying, I mean, just finding them and finding in the right areas, the valleys. You're looking at topos. You're constantly going back and forth and talking to one another and trying to figure out different things. Everybody's breaking up, and they have some areas that they've searched in the past. And, me and Mike broke off and kind of did our own thing. It was incredible, man. It was something else and so surreal. I mean, we stayed in guide tents. It was like 25 to 30 degrees down at night. We had, the whole scenario. I mean, Steven knows about kind of that with the guide tents and with the stove.
That was like a perfect warm up for Idaho for you.
Yeah. I mean, just being off the grid and it was just so cool, man. The guys were so awesome. Shed Dog Outdoors, Ryan from over there. He came and joined us for a couple of days. Rich's buddy, John, and Skippy was there for a couple of days. Me and Mike. So there's actually 6 of us. But 2 of them didn't stay all that long, and we ended up being just 4 of us. But it was fun, man. We learned an absolute ton. We got into some serious antlers right off the rip. The first day, we got into camp. We set up camp. We met them. So we drove up. We met up with Mark. We stayed in Bangor for the night. We stayed right outside of Mark's place in a hotel. So we went and we visited with Mark for umpteen hours. I got there, it was like noontime, and we were there until like 9-10 o'clock at night, maybe even 11. And then we checked in the hotel, and we took off from the hotel. We met up with the boys in town around like 9, and we headed into the woods. Now, mind you, we're like 80 miles from the nearest paved road where we were camping. So we got into camp, we set up our camp, and then we got right to shed hunting, and we shed hunting in the afternoon. I ended up with nothing the first day. Captain Mike got 5 or 6. Dude is Hawkeyes, bro. Like, kid is nasty. I mean, when it comes to shed hunting, he knows his stuff. He finds his things and kind of gets it underway. And it just started piling on from there, man. Like every day we'd come back, there was just truckloads of bone, man, just flopping in, boom, boom, boom. I mean, it got pretty crazy. By like day 3 or day 4, Rich and John, those two shed hunt together. They've been shed hunting together forever. Though, like we went in pairs of 2s. Rich ends up finding this absolute ginormous brown. Brown is the fresh. That's this year. You find a lot of whites and chalks, which are past years. That guys, I mean, you're never gonna find them all, man. And we picked those up. I mean, those are the ones. I mean, the table's in the way. There's just you can't really see him. I'll grab some in a second. But so he ended up finding just a giant brown. And then John came down. They ended up finding the second half, and it still had velvet on it. On the tips, it had like curly velvet on it. Absolute gorgeous side. They were like, now mind you, they don't really do it like in inches like they would like a whitetail.
Yeah.
When you measure them,
they do measure the paddle.
Well, I'm doing pounds.
Pound and paddle. Yeah.
Crazy, dude. So they end up finding this one. It's like 14 3/4, which is an absolute behemoth. Real tall tined antler. So they ended up finding, then they ended up matching it up. They found another brown. So we ended up going in that area the next day, and we ended up tearing it. No, that was in the morning. We ended up going there that afternoon, and we ended up tearing it up. And then I found my biggest shed of the season. Absolute behemoth. Actually, give me 2 seconds. I'll show you.
Yeah, grab it.
For the YouTube guys, I'll show you.
So everyone that's listening, if you flip over to the YouTube side of this, Trev is, holy crap. He's showing us a triple brow. Yep. Absolute stud. Holy crap.
It's for you guys not on the YouTube side. Hold on a second.
You're good, man. He's still so excited he can't get his headphones on.
Oh. So I know I'm a little distant away from it, but Jesus. So this one here, it's got 3 brows, real thick all the way through.
Dude, the mass on that thing is nuts.
Yeah, it's got absolute crazy mass. So this one here is about 14 pounds, 15 pounds. But it's got everything. It's got length, girth. Look at the mass around the base here.
Mm-hmm.
Just absolute behemoth. You should have seen it. So I brought Ruby with me, obviously. I mean, she's my shed dog. So when she went up to that thing,
she could
nothing to do with it. So at that point, I mean, she'll just sit there.
She'll alert, let you come find her.
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of like sit, wait, listen. Just kind of see if she's running around. If she stops, you just kind of go over to where she would, and she'll be there standing with it. I saw this one kind of before she did, which is fine. I mean, I don't care. I mean, it was her first season. She's only 1 year old, so I ended up finding that one.
A year. She's under a year, isn't she?
She's just under a year.
Yeah.
She's about 11 and a half months. She's almost a year old, but
she hunts like a 2-year-old.
She does. She's got it together, man. Like some of the training things, it was kind of cool to work with Ryan and see, because Ryan does something a little bit different than what Rich does. Rich has Turtle, which is like the holy grail of shed dogs, in my opinion. Turtle is the man. Like, he is the moose shed man. Like, he finds big whitetails and big moose sheds. He's been doing it forever. He's 10 years old. So that's kind of he was the reason why I even got Ruby or wanted to have a shed dog to begin with, was Turtle. And then to meet Yukon, which is Ryan's from Shed Outdoors, Shed Dogs Outdoors. So they do 2 different things. See, Rich's regimen is reward the dog with a treat. So he gives him like strips of chicken or milk bones, milkies. When he finds a shed, he gets a milk bone. The problem with Ruby is Ruby could care less about any type of treat or anything like that. Like, I tried giving her milk bones. I've tried giving her chicken. She does not care. I was bit 3 times while I was up there because she just freaks out when she goes to grab the bone. She like wants the bone so bad. Like that's all she cares about is the bone. Like if you get a smaller antler in your hand, forget it. I mean, she'll jump up and try and grab it out of your hand because she wants it so bad. So talking with Ryan was like, well, if she don't like that, but she loves to fetch, what I do is I throw a tennis ball for her for a couple minutes. So he throws Yukon a tennis ball because that's what she wants to do. I mean, she wants to please, she wants to fetch, and they always give them a reward. Like they're doing work. Like it's kind of like a drug dog. When they find drugs, they give them a treat or they reward them with food or whatever the case may be. So that's what you have to do. So when Ruby finds one, what I was doing with the smaller bones was I was throwing them out for her and then having her bring them back a couple of times. I didn't really care. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I did it. So she ends up finding, she had already found her first bone the second day. We're walking down this older clear cutting. We had been driving around, man. And there's like a lot of areas, like especially whitetail hunting, where, you know, you have to know the areas that you don't want to hunt to, which are bad, right? So you would go and you check and see if there's sign. If there's not sign, you just keep moving on. And so we went in and I knew there was going to be older bones there. Not really the clearest, newest cut. So we just needed to get out and stretch our legs. We had put like stupid miles on the truck and we couldn't find the areas that we wanted. So we get out and I'm walking down this one clear cutting and I could tell because she'll start getting birdie, twisting of her tail. She'll start freaking out and kind of, you know, because there's a lot of grouse around too. So I'm watching her and I'm like, I know she's near a bone. I know she's near a bone. So I'm walking and she turns around about face and just starts running right at me and picks up a bone and brings it right to me. I'm like, whoa, this is how this works. Like it was something else. It was definitely really cool. So we had a moment there and she carried the thing around and so on and so forth, which was kind of cool. And we threw it for her and then we just kind of went on our way. And there was so many instances that she would find her own bone and it was like, wow. She ended up finding 6 on her own. And it was like, wow, this is what it's all about. Because like during whitetail season, she found some smaller bones and stuff, but to find a moose bone and then bring it back, it was like,
whoa.
Yeah. And you're talking, I mean, she's bringing back 10 pounders.
Yeah. She's
and
bringing
I'm like,
stuff that's half her weight.
I'm like, what in the world? So the second biggest paddle that we found, not as big as this one, it actually probably is. It's just a lot taller with bigger tines on the base. Also, it's got a split G2, which kind of cool and kind of memorable to me. That we found it. That was on the last day. They do this. Like I was talking about the religion thing they do to the shed gods. You sacrifice an antler to the shed gods. So in that, it's kind of crazy because, you know, like I collect every single bone that I've ever gotten. I mean, every single bone you can see, I keep every single one I have. My mom asked me for them. I tell her no. I mean, they just mean something to me. So everyone has to sacrifice a bone every night. We sacrifice a bone, whether it's a skull or whatever. You sacrifice to the shed god. So I had to put one in the fire, and it was tough. It was definitely tough. I put an older chalk in the fire, and it was kind of cool, man. Like I kept the burl. I pulled it out of the fire in the morning. I still have it and stuff. And it was cool to be part of the group like that and just kind of pay it forward and to the shed gods. I mean, it was definitely awesome. So the last day, me and Ruby were walking, and my trip was pretty much complete, man. I was good with it. Me and Mike had found this one hillside, and we knew there was tons of sign. We had found it in the rain, and we definitely wanted to go back there, and we knew that. So me and Mike went back there, and I had walked up. We went up to the Canadian border. I got a picture of Ruby on the border cut because up there, I don't know if you guys ever seen North Woods Law or whatever, but they do along the borders. It's a clear cut the whole entire way, and they have shooting houses down it. They got a big post that they do salt licks for the moose and so on and so forth because they can bait in Canada and their season's a little longer than ours is. So we went up there and we kind of checked it out, and I got up on the mountain and I was overlooking United States. It was kind of like an outside looking in kind of thing. It was a beautiful picture. And It was absolutely gorgeous. And me and Ruby got to walk around and kind of take everything in and over the whole entire 9-day course of just how amazing it was, man. And it just kind of put everything kind of in perspective of like how perfect, everything that I get to do, like to just kind of take everything in. Like, this is just amazing. Got to go off grid, got to see everything, got to enjoy everything, got to meet new friends, and just it was just so surreal, and just take it all in. So I break off one of this clear cutting and I start going to the right. And I'm like, this is just, if I don't find another bone, like, I could care less. I really could, man. My trip is complete. I sacrificed to the shed gods. Like, everything is absolutely perfect. So Ruby's out front and she's running away from me and doing her thing, and I'm watching her, and you kind of pay attention a little bit more. I mean, there's bears, there's porcupines, there's moose with calves. I mean, there's a lot of dangers, and mind you, we're far away from everything. So you kind of you're on edge. And so I'm just thinking about all these positive things that are going on, and the great things that I get to enjoy every single day. And I come around this corner through this clear cut, and then I come into this like short, like soft woods with hardwoods. There's like this down tree, and I see Ruby go around, and she comes around and she stops, and I'm like, oh no, I think there's a bone over there. And I come and I walk up on this absolutely gorgeous bone. It was tines down, and it looked like it's just a spider, because it's got the split G2s, it's got the double brows, it's long, it's huge, and she's just there and she's just barking at it, and she's just like digging at the ground, and she's trying to get it, and it's just absolutely massive. And it was something else. It was actually the first picture that I ended up putting up since I've been home. Let me see if I can find the video.
Yeah, you've done really good holding off putting stuff up.
It's tough, man.
Mad props.
I haven't really, I mean, obviously we haven't told anybody, the numbers of what we've actually put up. I'll end up, after this releases, or it's going to release this week, so I'll end up telling the story. But here, if you guys are on the YouTube page, you guys can actually see the video. This is Ruby as I come around the corner.
Oh, look at her point. Oh, that is gnarly.
Yeah. So as you can see, I mean, she's just, when I came around the corner, I'm standing there.
Yeah. She's just.
Oops. And she's just standing with it. So that's what she does with the bigger bones. See how crazy she's freaking out. I mean, you're talking a 15-pound bone. And she would never be able to pick it up, but she's just digging at it. And she's trying to figure out how to flip it over and whatever else to do with it. And it was just laying there. So it was definitely really cool to see that. And so this was the picture you guys all saw on my social media. Was this one?
That's too cool, man.
Yeah. It was awesome, dude. It was a great trip, man. And to be there with all these guys, I got to do, there's one bone that I got, and I had posted up some pictures on my social media, the big white one of me and Ruby, this one here, this one right here. I don't know if you guys ever have seen that one yet, but that bone there was awesome. I mean, it was so cool. So Rich just kind of mentored me through this and wanting a shed dog and so on and so forth. So we had gotten back, we had hunted one area, we had picked one area, and I got back to the truck and Rich was there. Rich had gotten a absolutely gorgeous old set. Like, it's probably 10 years old. Absolutely gorgeous, wavy. They get like these, they call them taco antlers. They kind of like turn into each other and they're kind of wavy, really cool, beautiful. So he ended up matching up a set, him and Turtle, and he was back at the truck and we were working an area, and he's like, hey man, if you want to go up on this hill together, let's go up there. So me and Rich broke off and we went up there and we were shed hunting and picking together. And me and Rich were just talking, man, just shooting it and talking it up and whatever else. And he was showing me how he does it and got to see how Ruby worked and so on and so forth. And we were just up there talking. And Ruby comes up and I'm looking down on my GPS and he's like, hey, head up. And I look up and there's Ruby. She's got a big bone, but it was cool because we were able to do it together. We were together, we were talking, and he got to see, and he got to take all kinds of pictures of me and Ruby finding a bone and whatever else. But this one had a big palmed brow. So it had just like, there was no points on the brows. It was just a big palm.
Just a paddle.
So cool. Everyone just kind of means everything. I mean, these guys are at that point where, you know, Ryan has 150 paddles. He's like, I don't even know what to do with any more of them. Rich sells a lot of his. I mean, he makes his shoes out of them. We stopped on our way home, and we ended up buying he ended up buying 200 pounds of antler from a guy. He buys from all kinds of crazy guys. He buys browns and cuts them up and sells them. So I can't get, I mean, one day maybe I'll get to that point. Maybe I won't, you know, it's just, it's an incredible time, man. I had the time of my life. It's unbearable.
Well, comparing it to your last trip to this trip, it's like you guys did good on your last trip out there trying to figure it out. And when you started sending me those in-reach numbers, like day 2, and you're like, oh, we're up to like 30. And the next day it's like, oh, we're up to like 51. Oh, we're up to like 65. Oh, dude, we're in the 70s. I'm like, my eyes are literally like, holy crap. Are you kidding me? And when you came home and finally sent me that final number, I was like, holy shit, dude. It's like, you literally just beat my best season in a week.
Yeah. There was 5-6 guys, 3 dogs. I mean, we hunted from sun up to sundown every single day. We worked together as a team. We went on our own and kind of tried new areas and checked things out and being mentored. I mean, Rich mentored us from the beginning. I mean, Mike had gone up and did a thing in 2013 or something when he had gotten married, and that was his honeymoon. He had originally met Rich then, and then we reconnected when we decided we wanted to get into this moose shed hunting thing and kind of learn that. And he kind of sent us on our way. Like last year, we did 2.5 days. We did 9 in 2.5 days, but with Rich's help. I mean, Rich gave us numbers. I mean, if it wasn't for him, we would never be able to do this. And then he kind of like points in the direction what to do. And then to be in camp with him and learn how it was. I mean, he was overly impressed with us. He was like, not everybody can do this. Like it's,
oh yeah. You either do it or you don't.
I mean, it's,
you can go shed hunting or you can be a shed hunter. There's a difference.
There is. And it's crazy the art that goes into it, man. It's not an easy thing. I mean, it's really not. Anybody can go up and try it, right? You're going to find an antler, right? Everybody finds antlers. I mean, it is. But to find the right areas and put the numbers up, it's an art, man. I'm truly blessed to be able to hunt with these guys and learn really what it's all about, man. It's something else, dude. These shed hunters are crazy, dude.
So now up where you guys were hunting, what subspecies of moose do you guys have up there? Just for the people listening.
I don't know. Is there? I didn't even know. So
I'm guessing they're Shira. I think
is that what they are?
Moose, but I'm not positive. I don't do enough moose to know exactly what's where, but I know
that's what I'm saying.
Maine to Idaho, they're 2 different subspecies.
Yeah, and you know, it's kind of funny in being naive and kind of ignorant. I didn't even realize that the West even had moose.
Well, I really almost want to bring Ruby out with us to Idaho because we have moose, like big moose.
Really?
We're going to be hunting, dude. So
it's funny is when I was talking to Devin, he's the one from Wild Prairie Gun Dogs where I got Ruby from. He was saying that he has moose out there in North Dakota.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
We have the eastern or
Shiras.
Tigeria moose is the subspecies.
Yep. The eastern or Tiga moose. Taiga, however you say it. Taiga.
I was going to say eastern. I thought that they were eastern. Taiga.
We're both doing
this. I didn't know that there was that many species of moose.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's just like whitetail, just like elk, just like turkey.
Yeah, I didn't.
Got subspecies all over.
I thought, honestly, Maine was the only place that had moose. Mm-hmm. I didn't realize it. But then I also found out that there was talk at camp that they were actually introduced to Maine. I didn't realize this, but this was a long time ago that they were actually introduced to Maine. I didn't know this. I mean, there was talk about it. There was a lot of, I mean, it's crazy, dude. Like the moose population up there is dying off because of ticks. I mean, they have moose ticks that just absolutely just devoured. I mean, we found numerous skulls. I mean, shit out buck skull. I mean, moose skulls. Mike found like 5 of them. Cow skull. I mean, we found all kinds of dead moose up there. There was a big, huge kill off of the ticks years ago, and guys are just having a tough time finding browns, which are that year's pop offs. We find a lot of older ones. A lot more people are picking. A lot of guys that are buyers are having a hard time getting them because more people are going into the woods and they're not selling them. So these guys their businesses are going down.
See, and that's the crazy thing, because growing up, shed hunting for elk sheds, that was a big thing. Mm-hmm. We would go out, and if you would pile up as much pounds as you could, and you turn around and sell them, because as a 14-year-old kid, you sell 6 or 7 30-pound elk sheds. That's a couple $100. You're living the high life.
What were they going for at that time?
Oh, the last 30-pound shed I sold in high school was going at $5.50 a pound.
Okay, let me tell you what a moose shed goes for.
I know they go for a hell of a lot more. And
moose sheds right now, the browns. If you have a brown and you're selling a brown, the buyers right now are buying them for $17 a pound.
Woo, buddy.
$17 a pound they're buying them for. They're selling them for way more.
Real quick, I'm going to pull up a calculator because I suck at math, but just to see what a 30-pounder would run. 30 pounds at $17.
So that's 2 14-pound sides.
That's $510 for the set.
For the set.
One set.
But on eBay, you can sell a set, like a big brown set, like a 15 to 20 pound set, which is like 40 pounds, 30, 40 pounds. That set's going to go for $1,000.
Yeah.
Online. Like those guys will buy them up.
You get a 30-pound side.
Yeah. A 30-pound side. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
that's 60 pounds antlers. That's $1,000. That's just, that's browns to be sold. You're not going to sell something like that though. If you found a 30-pound side, you're not getting rid of it. I'm sorry. It's just not happening. There's even the chalks, the whites, they're still going for $7 to $10 a pound.
No shit.
The whites. Yeah. They sell those things. Dude, some of the whites, those guys sell them on eBay. They get like $200 for them. $250.
That's nuts.
Guys want them, but they make all kinds of arts, crafts. People want them for their house, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
I don't sell my sheds. I keep all my sheds. I'll forever have all my sheds. I don't care if I have, this room is full and the only thing that's here is a microphone, because I am not getting rid of any of my sheds. I buy sheds. Funny thing is, when we ran into town to meet up with somebody.
Oh, dude, yeah. I wondered if you were going to bring that up and show that.
I couldn't not. I mean,
dude, that thing is nasty. That's all I'm going to say.
So
if you're not watching on YouTube, you need to go over on YouTube, and right around, I think like the hour and we'll say 15-minute mark, you need to look
whatever. Just match it up with whatever your audio says. So we went into town, and the guy we were buying from a picker, guy's older dude, got a shop in town, man, really cool dude, sells skulls and all kinds of crazy things. And obviously, we want to support those guys. So I wanted to buy something from him. He had an alligator skull. I was going to buy that because I want one for my collection in the worst way. So if anybody's got one that they want to sell, I'll probably end up buying it, or you want me to come kill one, or whatever the case may be.
Don't tell Michelle.
I want one really bad, so I'll take one of those. So I almost bought it, but I knew that this guy had everything. Like, he used to raise fallow deer, so I was going to buy a fallow deer set. He had all kinds of abnormal double-paddled moose. He had all kinds of stuff, but I collect oddities. I always buy an oddities stuff and whatever else when it comes to antlers. So I said, what do you got for whitetails? I want a wild whitetail shed. And obviously everything he's got is moose and this, that, and the other thing. But he said, I got a couple of wilds, and I almost bought some more, but I ran out of money. Because I did not want to spend that much money there. But so I ended up buying this.
Yeah, you've got to step back to get that in frame, dude. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and a kicker on one side.
No.
Oh, and the drop.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 18 points on one side.
Yeah. With the club triple drop. Just disgusting.
Broken on that side.
Yeah. Disgusting.
Had to have it. So, funny story. So I said, "What's up with that?" He goes, "A friend of mine found it walking his dog in his backyard in Maine. And he wanted me to make jewelry out of it. And I couldn't do it. And I said, 'What'd you pay for it?' He told me the price, and I said, 'Give you $20 more.' He goes, 'Sold.' I said, 'Deal.' Paid a little bit more than I should have, but I don't really care. It is what it is. I had to have it.
That's a badass shed.
Had to have it.
That to find that as a wild whitetail, not just a whitetail, not a farm raised. You could get this on a farm, but to get that as a wild whitetail, I mean, I got to ask, have you thrown any kind of tape to it or taken a best judgment? Because
It's got to be 100.
that side alone, I lean to 120. It's definitely in the non-typical side. That's obvious, but I want to say it's closer to the 110, 120 in there somewhere.
So
that thing is massive.
So I didn't, if I didn't know what was up there and seen trail cam pictures of what Maine deer look like or whatever the case may be, because there's always those crazy oddities that come out of the mountains of Maine, right? Like they're just absolute behemoths. There's a ton of them. The dude shot a 170 non-typical, like just behemoth, dude. This thing is stupid giant, like insane. And that was netted. By the way, not gross. That's
not
netted
green gross.
170. Yeah, that's netted 170s, 177. I think it was what it was. Splits and non-typical craziness. If I didn't see other sheds that guys have found or pictures of other big deer, I would never believe that was a wild deer. But I knew that this old timer, he had something non-typical, and I was like, dude, I gotta have it. Like I don't care what it costs, I want it. I gotta have it. And he had it. And I just had to buy it, dude. I'm going to put a tape on it. I want to see what it grosses and what the actual inches of it is. But
Out of everything on it, honestly, I want to know what the main beam is alone.
Yeah, that's the craziest part,
massive beam.
So, I mean, like, he's got to be over 20.
Yeah.
I mean, he's something else.
That thing just keeps going.
It's just... But there's so many deer like that up there. I didn't realize it, but like Maine, like they have a ton of big ones. I don't know if it's the lime that's up there or whatever, but there's one-offs. People shoot deer like that all the time, dude. Like I didn't even realize. Like so, like Maine's big moose. I mean, big whitetail stuff. I'll show you a picture. So, Captain Mike was with me, and he's like, "Dude, I got a buddy of mine that shot a deer up there that was similar." And at first,
well, you hear everyone talking about them northern big woods bucks, and they're big, but I mean, it's such a vast,
you don't realize
area.
You don't realize how big they are, dude. I never would have believed in a million. Because at first on the ride home, I'm like, dude, there's no way that deer is actually a wild deer. And Mike was like, yeah, it is, man. I'm telling you, dude. I'm like, I don't know, man. Do you think that I bought a high fence deer? Maybe he tricked me, so on and so forth. And he's like, no, dude, like they have that's a normal thing up there.
Well, let's think about Maine. Think about the mountains up there. I think it's the Cascades. Correct me if I'm wrong. If not, you guys can leave a comment or whatever. But so much of that is remote, untouched area. Deer can grow 8-10 years and never see a human.
So, for example, this was a deer that was sent to me, trail cam pictures.
Jeez.
From me.
Yeah.
So that kind of goes to show, and it doesn't even look real, right? Like you're like, what in the hell, dude? Like, what is that? But those are deer that have been found up there. That guy, like giants that never. You're saying, and the thing is, they come into these yards, dude. They come into these deer yards. And that's what they come into town. all the time, dude. To find this in your backyard is not, I mean,
It's uncommon, but it's not uncommon.
it's not uncommon. There was a deer that was shot in the area that we were in that went over 210 inches. That
Jeez.
just came off the mountains. I mean, you talk.
Think about, and for all our Maine listeners, kick us back some information. Isn't the big thing up there is to get the moose tags? And the whitetail are not really, it's not like the coveted species up there. You know, it's like, oh, I shoot deer for meat, but, you know, they don't chase them like we do. They want the moose.
It's so hard to shoot them. Like we talk to Mark about it all the time, dude. It's a one deer state, unless you're in some of the in the deer management zones, like in the urban areas.
Yeah.
But it's a one deer state, so you can only shoot one buck. And the thing is that it's so like overgrown with firs and softwoods that like they're cutting, like Mark. I mean, he's got a blind, and you know it's 200 yards one way, 200 yards the other way, and they're waiting for those deer to cross those things. And those guys will sit all season to shoot a halfway decent buck. And you just kind of take what it is. I mean, these guys are just taking food to take food, you know. Right. So that's what happens when you have those one buck states. I mean, these deer can grow. Giant. I mean, dude, the North Woods, the North Woods is 1 million square acres.
Yeah.
There's a lot of land for a deer to live up there.
That's like half of where you're going to be hunting in Idaho.
Right. I mean, it's crazy, right? I mean, so those deer do live up there. And I'll tell you this, dude, the deer up there had the longest legs you ever see, right? There's 20 something subspecies of whitetails anyways, but those deer up there, it's insane. Like when you see them, so when I saw them for the first time a couple of years ago when I was up there, I seen the legs on them and I was like, bro, look at that small moose. Mike's like, that's not a small moose. That's a whitetail. I'm like, what? Yeah, their stomachs are like because the snow is high. They adapt. They adapt to their surroundings. I mean, that's just the way that it is. It's just crazy, man.
It all bases on where you're at, the climate, and what the winters are like.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, down here, they're all small-bodied, and they're used to living in the heat and then surviving 8 inches in snow and low forage. Up there, they get the thick evergreen browse, but they got to get through piles of snow. You know, it's amazing to watch deer. I don't know. I guess that's why I'm just a deer nut. It's the same as
the eastern whitetail to the Midwestern detail. So if you look over my shoulder and you see the whitetail that's right there, like look how big his ears are, right? That's an eastern buck. The Midwestern bucks, we see them all the time, right? In the taxidermists, the Kansas, Illinois, they have these little tiny ears.
Yep.
Do you know why they have the little tiny ears? Or my thought of why they have little ears?
Because they don't need as big ears to hear across cornfields.
That's right. They need to see.
Yes.
So their ears are smaller and they've adapted, and their ears are smaller there, and their eyes, they use their eyes, which here is everything. They can't see as far, but they got to hear 3 times as much.
So have you ever, I got to ask, and I don't know why I've never asked this to you before, but have you ever seen a mule deer in person?
No,
okay,
never.
You haven't seen big ears yet.
but what is the reason? Because of sage and stuff, like where they are, or
mule deer?
Because they're hearing and looking.
Take a mule deer, and they live in a country that, you know, you can see 2 to 10 miles all day. Not only can they see all the way out there, they can hear all the way out there.
That's crazy.
That's what makes mule deer so hard to make moves on.
It's like a turkey that can smell.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
I mean, if you don't play the wind right and you don't play your cover right and the situation isn't right, that's why mule deer is such an addictive hunt.
That's nuts.
Just take a turkey and give it smelling.
That's nuts. Oh, you want to hear a crazy story real quick before we close this thing out?
Absolutely.
So, funny story. It was raining for 2 days up there, and we had obviously made a bunch of things at Mark's place. Thank God that we did, right? That we stopped there because we decided to make a new turkey pot call that we've been working on, which will come out hopefully for next season. We're working on a different soundboard over glass, to do a slate soundboard over glass. So I had him put it together so we can play around with it when I was up there. Made some strikers, dude. I made a feather striker, so it's got feathers inside of it, and turned it down. So we got to plan the lathe, whatever. So anyway, so we were up there. It was a rain day. It was a rain day for 2 days. Me and Mike were out scouting. So Mike jumped out of the truck and went up this old dirt road because we couldn't drive up it. So I was sitting there, and Mike closes the door, and guess what happens? And I was like, he's like, hey, there's a turkey out there. And I was like, oh, come on, man. Like, mind you, dude, we are in the middle of nowhere, like nowhere. Like, there's nothing around. If y'all want to look up the North Woods. You see how big it is, where we were. I mean, like, there was points where we were in some crazy places. So anyways, so we get a gobble, and we don't think that there's turkeys up there. Turkey season opens up May 3rd. All I have on me is my 9mm. And I thought about it. I almost killed this turkey with it. But anyways, so I get out of the truck. It's raining. I got the turkey call, and I got it up like this, and I'm playing it so the glass, it doesn't get on it. And this thing, and I'm calling this thing right in the dirt road. I call him right out. Big bearded, hanging white head comes out. He's strutting there. This, that, and the other. I'm in blue jeans. I'm kneeling down in the woods. I'm waiting for him to come out. I end up calling this bird out to the tote road. Comes out to the tote road. He turns, he sees me, and he runs right across the bridge, right down the whole entire road. I wish I had gotten on film, but I didn't. But we found turkeys up there. It was kind of cool, and I got to call him.
Did I not tell you, buy a tag, just in case? Dude, it would have taken away. And I said this, and Mike said the same thing. He was like, dude, if I knew this, I would have brought a shotgun and shot him. I was like, then we wouldn't have seen him. It just would have happened like that. Valid point.
And you would have put in so much more time trying to kill a turkey and taking away from the shed hunt. Like, was it stupid for us to leave the May 1st through May 10th?
No, not at all.
No, actually, we left the 29th. But anyways, to leave all that time to like miss out on turkey season, like, no, not at all, dude, man. Like,
you got to go up there and do some once in a lifetime shit, make some memories, and help train your dog. And you're back in time. You still got plenty of season. You got my boys John and Chase coming up there to get stupid in Connecticut,
which they've called me during this.
Dude,
I gotta call them back, but
yeah. Well, when you get to meet Chase, do me a favor, kick him in the ass.
Oh, that's yeah, okay.
One of my all-time favorite guys. The bird on the wall. Chase is who called that in for Kim for her first bird.
Oh, that's awesome.
I love that man dearly. He is probably one of my ultimate turkey hunting heroes. Don't tell him that. Don't tell him I said that. I'd never like a Marine to know an Army guy is saying you're a hero. But you're gonna have a blast with him, man. That dude is a turkey slaying fool. I mean, he just got back he got a bird in Montana, Wyoming, and South Dakota back to back every morning.
Yeah, and he was actually his flight got delayed.
Yeah, I got all
yesterday. I was talking to John yesterday, and he said that his flight got delayed, so he came in late last night. Them boys called me at like 10:30 last night. I did not answer. I was sleeping. I'm out.
Yeah, Chase he flew into Baltimore after the delayed flights, had to drive back to Annapolis to get the boat, and then drive back up. So wow. I when John told me, I was like, oh my goodness, man. That tells you
how hardcore
Chase will throw into for these birds.
It's nuts, man. I'm hoping to meet up with them in the next day or so and just kind of bounce them around and kind of show them around the area. I was kind of letting them struggle for a little bit, and then we'll put them to the boots and kind of show them around.
Well, I'll put it this way: if they strike a bird, it's probably gonna die.
Yeah, they said they were trying to get on some private. They found some private. They had some birds. They got denied, and I haven't had the heart to tell them that you're not going to get private up here.
Yeah, well, I don't know, dude. Chase.
I mean, they probably could, you know.
So Chase has cards he can play. One,
right.
He's a one-armed Marine. He only has one arm, guys. He's crazy. Chase is our left-hand man. That's how we refer. He's our left-hand man.
That's awesome.
And so when you go to shake his hand, dude, use your left hand. I'll warn you now.
I was gonna ask. I didn't want to make fun or nothing. But
no, dude, he'll if you put your right hand out, he'll take his little prosthetic and he'll just reach out and pinch your hand and be like, "What's up?" Just to be a dick. No, he's actually a really cool dude. So just remember, shake with your left hand. And then when you're done, you go, "Hey, don't you wipe your ass with that hand?" He'll get the joke. He'll get the joke.
That's awesome.
And then bring up Man Love Thursdays.
Okay, I will. Yeah, I'm excited to check out with these guys and see what's up. Things are getting a kind of a little weird. So today, like, I bounced around, but a lot of the grass is getting tall, and then birds are kind of changing their patterns. They're not going in that tall grass. So I don't know what to do.
I have always
Messing me up.
followed that and believed that double beard bird I killed was in foot tall grass.
Jesus.
They were out strutting in foot tall grass. I have never seen it in my life.
It was wet this morning, so they definitely weren't in it. They don't like getting their feathers wet, but I don't know, man.
You saw the fan on mine.
Yeah.
That thing was soaking ass wet, and he was in foot tall grass.
Because do they just not have anywhere else to go? I mean,
No, I just think Virginia birds are fucking retarded. Pardon my French.
right.
I think they are flat retarded. They're either retarded or gay.
Wow. Nuts.
Because they do not like decoys. They don't like calls. They walk away from both of them. They hang out where they're not supposed to be in the rain.
Nuts.
If you think you know about turkeys, come to Virginia and try to hunt them. End of story.
I'll pay for your tags. I will.
It's not easy. We
No.
are ranked one of the hardest states to kill turkeys in nationwide for a reason.
Number one worst turkey state in the country, my friend. For a reason.
But
Wish anybody luck. I'm
still get
done
it
going
done.
to Virginia.
that's all right. We're going to Oklahoma next year.
All right, Oklahoma it is.
Oklahoma and Kansas. We're going to hit those Rios and Merriams. We're going to check those off. We need to just do a tour.
So
I got guys in
Yes.
Florida.
we should, because I've also talked to Clay Thurman about going to Nebraska next year too. So
Okay, so we do Oklahoma, and then we jump up to Nebraska, and then we come home. We could do the slam, dude.
we could do the slam next year. I think that should be the goal.
My wife will hate me, but we could do the slam.
She won't hate you.
I got plenty of vacation.
She'll hate you because she can't go. Or
That's
she
her
didn't- or
problem.
she-
Yeah, she's gonna.
It's not going to be the
because
fact that you're going.
I'm turkey hunting without her.
That's all that is. It's not the fact that you're going. It's the fact that she's
Not.
can't go. Right. Exactly. I mean, it's not that she can't, but
But yeah, vacation and everything else and the way it works out. I have the breathing room and she doesn't. I mean, she does, but she doesn't.
right.
Complicated.
Yeah, man, it's nuts, dude. I'm excited, dude. I think that the 2021 season has kind of kicked off in a whole different way, man. I mean, I'm so excited.
I've still got 2 Virginia tags, and season doesn't end till Saturday, and I still have a Pennsylvania turkey tag.
That's awesome.
So we'll see how motivated I am. I need redemption. I need that turkey kill that comes with all the euphoria after the kill.
Agreed.
You know, just that clean story on film type thing. But I'm also getting jacked because the river's getting up to the right temperature.
Smalley fishing.
Mm-hmm.
None wrong with that, buddy. I'll tell you, I did my goal for the season. If I don't kill another turkey here in Connecticut, I'll be all right. Don't care.
My turkey goal last year, I achieved this year. One afternoon bird, first afternoon bird.
Oh yeah, that's right. You haven't killed the one
I
afternoon.
pulled off my afternoon bird
That's awesome.
and my first double beard
That's
in
awesome.
a spot and stock.
Nothing wrong with that, buddy.
So I'm going to call that a win for the season. If I don't get anything else, I'm happy.
Nothing wrong with that.
But I still got enough time that I may be able to pull off one more. Granted,
you do.
it may be with a rifle over that filled hang up hill.
I love it. I love it. I think video that, dude. I think that would be priceless because in Virginia you can do so.
I need retribution on those freaking long beards.
They're giants. You need to.
Dude, I pulled up that video during editing of those 2 long beards out in that field.
Right.
This bird I killed had a rope on him. Those 2 birds had frickin'
They had this on them.
Yeah. I mean, these things are this big around. And when they stand up, they're touching the ground. They've got to be 13-inch beards.
Yeah. You need to rifle those birds and be done with it.
Yeah, I may
You
go
need to get new ones in there.
I may revert to some of my old operator mentality, and they may just end up a Mark 24 situation.
Perfect. I love it, dude. You need to do it. You really do, man.
I'm debating, man. I've always made fun of people that shoot turkeys with guns, with rifles, but you know what? Those birds for 2 years straight have given us the runaround. I think they deserve a lead bath.
That's right. And, then that puts new birds out there and it'll make it easier for us to kill next time.
Yeah, I need to start developing that property with stupid birds. Kill the smart ones. Let stupid birds come around.
Right. Yep. I definitely. Oh, the other thing I did on the way up to Maine is I dropped off the hen.
Oh.
So we get her mounted up.
What'd you go with?
She's
Fly down.
Nope. No, I don't want to find. But that's it. So he asked me what I wanted to do, and I was like, I don't want flying, and I think we're just gonna do walking. I did find one that like I kind of cared for, I kind of liked where she was kind of pruning herself.
Yeah.
I kind of like that.
I see that. The fan slightly spread, the wing up, head tucked.
Yeah,
I could see that being a good mount for a hen.
Just something, or just kind of walking. I wanted walking with her, kind of like calling. I don't think that they can do an open mouth.
Yeah, because they're probably using a freeze-dried head, and they don't gobble, so it's hard to get a freeze-dried hen head.
Yeah. So I don't know yet. Undecided. If if anyone's got any cool bearded hen ones, I'd really send them over because I really want to see them. I want something cool and unique that'll kind of show it off. But he's saying with her walking would be the best.
I have to agree. I think her either in a walking or feeding, have that beard touching the ground while she's feeding, or in a full lookout.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just out there displayed. I think that could look cool.
I'm running out of room, dude. I don't know where I'll put her. But
Oh, you got plenty of room.
Crazy.
Do her lookout on a limb, and then hang the limb off of a pillar.
Yeah, I guess I could, like over here.
Yeah.
On this pillar. But then it's in the way. So I don't know.
You have the limb sticking out right over the table in front of you.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I could. Oh, I could do it like right here.
Yeah.
Over here. Yep. I guess I could.
And just have her doing a full lookout off the roost right over the table.
Yeah, that, or I was thinking a corner piece over in that corner, but whatever. That was a crazy hunt too, man. Like, I couldn't believe that. That was nuts. Like, so a lot of people don't know. I'll get into it real quick because obviously we're running out of time here, and everyone doesn't want to listen to us.
We're only like an hour and 6 or 50 minutes in.
Oh, yeah, only. So my goal was to set out. The funny thing is, Captain Seth calls me the sexy bearded hen, and so I had seen that there was 2 hens on one of our local private properties here, and I had said to Mike, I said, dude, I want to kill one of these birds. Like, I want a bearded hen. Like, it's like the holy grail, right? Like, to kill one of these things, I guess. No, real odd. I mean, so only 10% of the population has a beard, and it's a genetic malfunction, right? But they can still breed, and they can still have hens and so on and so forth. So there's one on the farm that's got about an 8-inch beard. Oh, and that's the other thing. In my research, bearded hens can only get up to an 8-inch beard. That's the biggest beard that they've ever had. So this one's the one down there has got maxed out. Yeah. So it's got like a 7 or 8-inch beard on the farm. And then there was one that had like a 4 or 5-inch beard. And I said, Mike, you can shoot all the gobblers. I said, I don't care. I said, I want to shoot one of the bearded hens. So opening morning, I said, if they come in, I want to shoot one of the bearded hens. I just want one. He goes, I've already shot one. I don't really care to shoot another one. I said, okay, fine. I said, I'll shoot him. So we went there. Nothing came in. The birds kind of skirted us. We called them back and forth forever, man. Just they wouldn't break. There was too thick of stuff, so on and so forth. So we didn't get those. So we ended up going to another public piece, actually, where I killed, or I didn't kill, the youth hunter that I hunted with, Everett. He ended up getting his. So we ended up going over to that piece. And I got over there and I said to Mike, I said, there's another gobbler in here. I said, let's go. I said, we'll try and kill this thing. So got over there and I start calling, nothing answers, so on and so forth. But this stupid hen starts cutting back at me. And I'm like, oh, you're done, dude. I said, Gator, Mike, let's see. Actually, a little bit more to the story was I had lost my striker. And Mark said, you better go in there and try and find it so that, we don't have to pour and make new ones. So I said, okay. So open in the morning, I went in there, I tried to find it. So I ended up finding it, and I had called and nothing responded. So then I get on the pot call. So I have a slate over glass. So glass on the back and slate on the front on one of my wood calls of his. So I'm on the back with the glass and I'm cutting on it. And this thing starts calling back at me. I go, Mike said, sit down. Said, I'm calling this girl in. So I end up calling her in, and she's coming, and we're going back and forth. I got the read in. I'm cutting at her. She's cutting at me. We're yelping back and forth. I mean, this goes on. She ends up coming in, and I see her, and she's behind a big tree. She starts going out in front of me, and I just seen, so her beard laid on her chest, and you couldn't see the beard. You just saw like a little tiny, like on the sweat, just a little tiny like outcropping. And I'm like, it's got a beard. Mike goes, no, it doesn't. Don't shoot it. I said, it's got a beard. I'm telling you 100%. It's got a beard. I know it has a beard. And he's like, I don't know. I don't see it. I go, only one way to find out. So I smoked this thing, and I was 100% positive in my mind. And Mike is thinking at the point, right? He's like, Trev, you're just at the point where you wanted to kill a bearded hen so bad that you seen a beard on this thing.
Right.
That's what he's thinking
sticking
mind,
out.
right? He's like, this fucker. He's like, where are we going to hide this thing in the bush? Mike, we're good, dude. It's got a beard. I'm telling you 100%. So we walk up to it, and she's got a monster beard on her. It was like 7.5 inches. I was like, yeah, buddy. So I ended up shooting this thing and rolled it with the Boss Tom and tungsten. Just absolutely not.
7s, not 9s.
7.5s. And knocked her down. Really cool, but I got that goal. It was kind of cool to get it. So if I don't shoot another bird throughout the rest of the season, I'm all right with it.
Nah, dude, you're going to be fine. You're going to knock 1 or 2 more down.
I don't know. I'm not really going to try that hard, though.
Dude, you went from like 17 in total last year. You're knocking down at least 1 more bird.
I'll try. And maybe with the bow.
Yeah, because, I mean, you do have the league that you got to put up some numbers for, dude.
I know, they're going to be mad.
Your team's leaning on you.
My team, I love my team, and I have a great team. But they're just not. I got picked as the underdog. Them not knowing, I just got picked.
You just gonna settle for being the underdog?
No. I'm like the silent underdog, I guess it would be.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I know you better than that. You're not gonna be the underdog.
No, I'll kill a bird with the bow. I know I will. It'll take time. We'll see what happens. I want to get through this week. Kind of go hang out with Chase and those guys and see what's going on and check those guys out and hang out. And we got a couple of birds in some spots, and we'll try and kill one in the morning. See what happens.
So see how their hunts go, and I'll hit them up here shortly too, as I'm sure you will. And I'll bust their balls. You give them all sorts of good feelings and vibes, and then hopefully they have a good kickoff to the season. And then you go out there and make Chase call you in a freaking bird for your bow. Because you want to talk about the luckiest turkey hunter I've ever met in my life.
They've probably, they were hunting all day, so I imagine that. We'll see what happens. See what they got planned for the morning, but we'll put them on some birds here, or at least put them in some areas. See what happens. I'm pumped. Still got turkey season.
The 3 of you together, shit's gonna die. That's all I'm saying. Like, I'm an okay turkey hunter. The 3 of you together, shit's gonna die.
I'd imagine so.
It's like, think of the cast and crew of what is it, Predator, the original, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and the special operations team out in the jungle. That would be the equivalent of you guys out and a turkey as Predator.
Oh, I know I'm gonna kill a turkey. Do you know why I'm gonna kill a turkey? I got something really cool in the mail today. I'll share it with everybody.
Oh snap! There it is.
The Chupacabra.
So many inside jokes.
So this is Chase and Tails, Walter Lee. Oh, Chase and Tails, that's his shirt. I had to get it. That was cool.
Yeah.
Chupacabra.
Yeah. So take that out, and Go enjoy a good hunt with them boys. Knock them down.
Sounds good, buddy. Well, congratulations on your giant bearded bird, man. I'm really envious of you, man. That's a great bird, man. You deserve it. So happy for you, bro. I really am. I was so pumped when I saw the pictures.
Much appreciated. It was nice to be able to go say, hey, I can actually still kill birds.
We knew that, man. It's just
I was starting
crappy state.
I was starting to doubt myself, I'll be honest. So it was nice to just be like, okay, I got this.
It was nice that the whole Clark family tagged out in Virginia this year, man.
Yeah, man.
You guys got it back.
We didn't tag out. I mean, we technically still between us could get 4 more birds.
You punched some tags, man.
Yeah, we'll go with that. We made them count. All of them were good birds.
Nothing wrong with that, man.
So, all right, brother. Well, let's wrap this mother effer up and try to keep this clean. But you got any closing thoughts?
No, man. I really don't.
So, literal question. In Maine, what drove you outdoors?
That was the truck, bro. Because you definitely don't want to walk up there. I will say that, man. No, I was the thing that kind of I will kind of answer that question. It was definitely the camaraderie of camp, man. There's nothing better. I don't care. Everybody knows that camp is like the place, right? And like being with all those guys and the sunrises, the sunsets, the mountains, and just knowing that, you know, around that next corner, dude, could be that one shed. You know, you had those. All I wanted to do, man, was go to bed and wake up and go back out picking in the morning, man. We wanted to hit that number. Their all-time highest number in shed pickings for all of their spring shed camps was 81.
Record broken.
We broke the record. We did also have 2 extra guys, but still.
Doesn't matter.
We broke the record. They definitely had more Browns times before, but it was so cool, man. I just always something new was going to happen or go in new spots, or we seen loads of wildlife and bears, and it was just cool, man. The drive was incredible there. I mean, it was something else. So
awesome. Well, glad you guys had fun. Glad we got to share the stories, and stay tuned. We've got a couple of pretty high-end episodes coming up here shortly. So keep an eye out. Some big names that you guys are going to know. Check out the shoot. Make your plans to meet us up there. And hit up all the sponsors. Get in on the Sea Duck Hunt giveaway. Make sure you don't miss that opportunity. And until then, as always, thanks for taking the ride right here on the Outdoor Drive.